Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an aspect of the race we might look back on later as having been a path to finding the winner. Well, some very good racing on Sunday at Sha Tin with the Sha Tin Trophy, the Group 2 over a mile, which is often the kick-off point for our very best horses as they return from their summer break. And certainly it's chock full of quality on Sunday. There'll be plenty about that all around the website. I'm going to look at two of the support races, and the first of those is race 3, where our winning factor is the map. Now, only a smallish field for this class 2, and there may be fans for the likes of I'm a Single Man, Rock Your Heart and Run Run Cool. But the main players to me look like the David Hayes trained Lucky With You for Zach Purton, and Fantastic Way from the John Size Yard, ridden by Alexi Badel. Now, John Size, we normally look for him to be up and about in November. He's up and about a little bit earlier this season, producing a few winners already. And of course, he's lost his jockey this season. Now, this race looks to be a bit of a tactical battle when we get to the map later between Zach Purton and Badel. And I'm just wondering whether Badel may be Size's new go-to jockey. So I had a look back at the records of the riders for John Size over the last 5 years. And of course, for all that time, the lion's share of the riding duties have been taken up by Joao Moreira, as you can see by these numbers. And Joao, of course, out with injury for a considerable time now. But I'm sure Johnny Size doesn't need my approval for his choice as the replacement go-to jockey. But if you look at these figures here, I think Badel certainly has the numbers to be that rider. Now, he has the joint second best strike rate for Size with Karis Teeton over this time. But of all the jockeys that Size has used in the last 5 years, he's the rider who performs best when you judge him by the market expectations of his mount. So certainly an interesting go-to rider now for the John Size Yard. Now, I think these two horses I've highlighted will be the favourites, and Lucky With You, he returned from his summer break with a hard-fought win down the straight that I thought was value for a little bit better than the margin. So we'll have a look at that now. This is in race 27. And you'll see him here. He's in the blue colours on the outside, begins well, gets to the outside rail, the preferred section, but he's happy to let a couple lead him, including Sunday's runner in the same race, Classic Unicorn in the light green. Now, look at the heat map here, and mid-race the pace picks up. The pressure goes on a little bit early, and he and the runner-up here, Handsome Bobo, really duel it out over the final 350 metres, both having to make a longish run, and that leaves them open and vulnerable if any late finishes come. None does, and they get to the line with Lucky With You just getting the bob in on the post. So I think that win was a little bit better than it might have looked when you took the short odds. Then a week later, Fantastic Way made his return from the summer break as well. And this is race 46. He's in yellow, purple, red cap in gate 10 and jumps well, but he then has to drift back in the field because others push up underneath him and keep him wide. So he remains wide during the run, 3 wide, but he does have cover on the back of another runner, and that helps him out. But as the leaders sprint, he has to come even wider coming into the straight, while the winner, Fantastic Treasure, slips through a passage on the inside and gets the advantage. But you see, Fantastic Way continues to close well into third placing. Now on Sunday, Fantastic Way draws a lot better, and perhaps that will make the difference. But I want to take a look now at our winning factor, the map, because this is a map that I think shows the difference between a good draw and a good map. Now, Fantastic Way goes from barrier 10 last start to barrier 1 this time, so in terms of the draw, much better off. Lucky With You, meanwhile, goes from an ideal wide draw down the straight to a not so ideal wide draw around the turn. But I'd argue that he's still drawn to get a good map. Classic Unicorn, who led that straight race we saw, again looks like the leader in this. He's only 2 barriers inside Purton on Lucky With You. And I expect Zach will try to follow Classic Unicorn across early and then park towards his outside. Then the pace becomes the key. If it's strong, Lucky With You is exposed outside the leader with Fantastic Way getting a soft run behind him. But Classic Unicorn is a real stamina doubt at 1200 metres, so his rider Jerry Chow will likely want to try and keep the speed down to something manageable and help him run the 1200 metres. In which case, Purton is then outside Fantastic Way in the run and gets the opportunity to dictate when Bedell can make his run on Fantastic Way. So the tip from me in race 3 is Lucky With You. His winning factor, the map. So the benefit of a good map, I think, is how it advantages one horse over another, and that isn't always tied into the barrier draw. And I think this is an occasion where, with precious little between these two horses, in my opinion, Zach might get the tactical edge, being able to keep Bedell where he wants him for as long as he needs to. The other race I want to take a look at on Sunday at Sha Tin is the final race, race 10, where our winning factor is the draw. Now, some decent prospects in this Class 3 to end the card, and I'm sure Packing Treadmill resuming will have his fans. Namjoon Sings is racing well at Happy Valley, ready to win, and Good Buddy, who is up in class, have claims. But for me, the race revolves around the size-trained Bundle of Charm and the lightly weighted Sylvester de Souza mount, Science Patch. Now we're going to look at Bundle of Charm's run first up for the season, when he was a pretty expensive defeat for most punters when he went out favourite in the race we're going to look at now, and it's race 25. He's in pink and green colours, gate 8, and Bundle of Charm is the first horse to jump. He goes looking for the front, but he isn't the only one with that idea and has to work very hard through a fast first section to get to the lead, and even gets a bit keen after that when he finally does clear them. So there's no resting mid-race for him, and that takes a toll. Now you see on the heat map a slow final 400 metres, in fact about 5 lengths slower than would have been anticipated, and as you see here, he folds up in the final stages, Bundle of Charm. A few get past him and he has to be satisfied with a close-up 5th. Not what you wanted to see if you took the short odds, but he certainly did have excuses. Now a week later, I think we saw his main danger go around, and this time it's race 40 and it's Science Patch, who had his second run for new trainer Pierre Ung. He's in gate 2 with blue, yellow and white colours, and he's well enough away and settles in 5th placing. Now he's also just a touch keen this time because of a steadier pace, but otherwise gets a nice run through the event. He emerges at the 200 metres to make his bid, but as I said, the pace wasn't that strong and the leader was able to control things and then sprint from the top of the straight, so it was not that easy to claw back the margin, and Science Patch has to be happy with second placing. Now he goes up a grade for that second placing from Class 4 to Class 3, does get a significant drop in the handicaps as a result, while Bundle of Charm I think will be fitter for that run, and the two of them are drawn together. Now let's take a look at the map. This time Bundle of Charm finally gets a barrier. In 4 starts so far, Bundle of Charm has managed to win well twice and hasn't missed a prize money check, despite having barriers 10, 11, 9 and 8. And now Alexi Bedell has gate 2 to work with, right next to his main danger, who again draws in. Bundle of Charm has shown plenty of early speed, as we saw in his replay. He might lead himself, or he might let the regular front runner Super Fortune go around him from the outside. Either way, he should get an easier run through the race this time. So the tip in race 10, Bundle of Charm. His winning factor, the draw. He certainly had excuses first up and he's handled things well from the wider gates in his earlier runs, but he won't know himself from a soft draw this time, and I think that really makes him the one to beat. Well, that's it from the winning factor for this week. Enjoy the Group 2 on Sunday. We'll see you next time.